I'm Jennifer with the Family Fudge, and welcome to Bunches of Lunches. Now, if this is your first time here on this channel, I love making fun lunches for my kids, and normally I share lots of packed lunch ideas for school. But of course, right now we are on summer break, and I've been letting our subscribers pick what I make for lunch. Now, before we get started, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. For the main course, I knew I wanted to make some shell mac and cheese, but out of all the different kinds of shell mac and cheese that I have, I decided to go with this extreme cheddar version. This one is super cheesy, and I always like to add a little extra milk to mine to make it a little bit more saucy. And now, just for fun, I'm going to take one of my flour cupcake toppers, and I'm just going to decorate the top of the mac and cheese. Next, for the fruit, I decided to go with some blueberries, and then to go on top, I just took an apple and I used a cookie cutter to cut out a little seagull shape. For the veggies, first I'm cutting some cucumbers into crinkle sticks. I really love the way that these look like seagrass. And then right on top of those, to represent flounder, I've just cut up some carrots into little fish shapes. Next, I'll add some ranch on the side. And then, to represent Ariel, I'm going to put together a Little Mermaid tea sandwich with some chive cream cheese and cucumber slices. Next up, for a sweet treat, I was able to find these two adorable cookies at Target. You guys, let me know which one of these cookies you like the best, but because I do want to represent Sebastian in this lunch, I'm gonna go with the crab cookie. And then finally, for the drink, I'm putting together an Ursula-inspired mocktail. First, I'm adding a few frozen blueberries. Next, I'm adding plenty of ice. Next, I'm adding some cranberry juice with grape juice. Then I'm topping that off with a little bit of sparkling black raspberry LaCroix. So it's sweet, but it's also tart and very dark. And there you have it, guys. That is everything in this Little Mermaid inspired lunch. Okay guys, I'm making a lunch idea sent in by Lydia from Canada, and for her lunch, we're going with an outdoorsy / summer camp theme. For Lydia's main course, she requested a corn dog with French fries. Now, often when I make corn dogs at home, what I actually end up making are more like corn dog muffins. Now that's where I just mix up my favorite cornbread batter, then I cut up some hot dogs, and I bake them inside each muffin. Now this is such a fun way to make something that tastes like a corn dog, but is easy to make at home. This time, I'm gonna try something new. I'm going to make a corn dog that's almost like a pig in a blanket. For this, I'm using this cornbread swirl dough. Now, this is the first time I'm ever trying this, so I'm not exactly sure if it's gonna taste like cornbread or if it's even going to work. But basically, I'm just gonna wrap the dough around each hot dog, and I'm going to leave a little bit of the hot dog showing. I think it looks really interesting like that. Now I'm just gonna throw these in the oven at 350 for about 10 to 12 minutes. And while that's happening, I'm going to cook up a few of these guys. Now I know Lydia requested French fries, but I have these smile fries and I think they are so cute. So I'm just gonna throw a couple of these in my air fryer for about 9 minutes or so. And you guys, here's how the corn dogs came out. Only one of them tried to unravel, and they really do smell like corn dogs. To go along with this, I'm adding some ketchup and mustard. So now moving on to Lydia's fruit and veggie. First, I'm adding some green grapes, and for the veggie, some baby rainbow carrots. For her snack, she requested barbecue chips, and I'm going with these honey barbecue ones because they're my personal favorite. And then for Lydia's sweet treat, she requested s'mores, which is a perfect dessert for camping. Now, I have all of the traditional ingredients to make s'mores, but what I don't have is a campfire. Now, technically, I know you could make these in the oven or microwave, but I decided to make these into mini pies instead. And you guys, this only takes 3 ingredients. Instead of graham crackers, I used these ready-made mini graham cracker pie crusts. And then next comes the classic Hershey's chocolate. And I'm just gonna add the regular chocolate to 3 of these. And then with the other 3, instead of regular chocolate, I thought it would be delicious to add 1 Reese's peanut butter cup to each. And yes, I do say Reese's, not Reese's, but you guys let me know in the comments down below. Do you say Reese's or do you say Reese's? And then on top of the chocolate, I added about 1 tablespoon of mini marshmallows, and then I put them in the oven at 350 for about 10 minutes or until lightly browned on top. And you guys, I did watch these really closely because I didn't want the marshmallow to get too dark, because personally, I'm not one of those people that likes a completely charred marshmallow. And now lastly, for her drink, Lydia requested lemonade. I'm gonna make him a Super Mario themed lunch. And you guys, for the sweet treat, I was able to find the brand new Super Mario themed Oreos, but more on those later. Starting with Griffin's main course, I wanted to make him a sandwich that looked like a mystery block or a question block, whatever you call them. Since those are yellow, I decided to use brioche bread because it's kind of naturally a yellow color. Now this Sammy is getting mayo, a few slices of salami, a slice of mozzarella, and then a smile of mustard. And then to decorate the top of this sandwich, I'm just gonna stamp on a little question mark. Now, often in the Super Mario games, if you hit a question block or a mystery block, you can get something that's going to either power you up or you can get a coin. So just for fun, I'm gonna throw in a little surprise chocolate coin and I'm gonna put it right underneath the sandwich. For the fruit, I'm going to cut up some watermelon into mustache shapes. And you guys, this is definitely more of a Luigi style mustache instead of a Mario styled one. And to go along with this, I also added some green grapes to represent Yoshi eggs. Next, I added some ranch to go along with the veggies, and I just put together some carrot-shaped cucumbers. And for this, I decided to go with a star shape to represent a superstar. On the side, I added some of these extra cheesy pizza goldfish. And then for the sweet treat, the super limited edition Oreos. Now technically, these are the double stuffed Oreos, and they're supposed to come with 16 different characters on the outside. So you might find Luigi, Mario, Yoshi, Toad, or Bowser, but tell me why they did not include Princess Peach. She's not on any of these cookies. Now, because she is missing from the cookies, I decided to represent her with the drink. I just made some strawberry peach flavored water. Okay guys, next up, I had a request for a Stitch themed lunch. Now this is also great timing because it is almost Stitch Day. If you've never heard of Stitch Day, it happens every year on June 26th, aka 626. And that's because in the movie, Stitch is also known as Experiment 626. Now, since Lilo and Stitch takes place in Hawaii, I want to use an ingredient that is popular there. That's right, you guys, I'm opening up a can of Spam.
One eternity later.
I'm going to put this Spam into some semi-homemade pineapple fried rice. So I'm going to start by cutting this into smaller pieces. Now, this is definitely not a traditional recipe, and there's definitely a big shortcut in here for sure. And that's because I'm just going to heat up this frozen vegetable fried rice in the microwave. While that's happening, I'm going to add my Spam to a pan because I want to get it nice and crispy on all sides. Now, for those of you that have never tried Spam, don't knock it until you try it. I do have to say that I prefer the low sodium version, and it's not something that we eat very often, maybe once or twice a year. Once the Spam is crispy, I can go ahead and add in the rice mixture. This has carrots, edamame, red bell peppers, onions, and scrambled eggs already in the mix. But what I like to do is go ahead and add in some pineapple tidbits as well. This makes the recipe both savory and a little bit sweet. It's a really tasty combination. Now, once this is mixed all together, I like to push it to one side of my pan, and then in this open area, I have just enough space to scramble 2 fresh eggs. Once the eggs are done, I can mix all of this together. And you guys, this is smelling so good. Now at this point, I could sprinkle on some soy sauce, but what I like to use is this Japanese tonkatsu sauce instead. Of course, this does have some soy sauce in it, but it also has lots of other spices and flavors. It is really good on this rice. Now I'm going to add a scoop and a half of this, and to make it pretty, I'm just going to add a couple extra Spam flowers right on top with a few extra pieces of pineapple. Now I really wish I had some green onion to sprinkle on here too. That would make this even better. Now moving on to the fruit. Now of course I've got to go with pineapple. This is the rest of the pineapple, not in the fried rice. And then on the side, I'm adding some cucumber, some edamame, And to go on top, I'm adding a few pieces of carrots that I've cut into the number 626. Now, in the movie, I remember Lilo and Stitch being huge Elvis fans. So I'm gonna put together a little Elvis-inspired sandwich. First goes on the peanut butter. Then I'm adding some bananas. And you guys, I've heard that Elvis actually liked bacon in his peanut butter and banana sandwiches, but I'm gonna go ahead and leave that off for today. But you guys, let me know in the comments down below, would you try a peanut butter, banana, and bacon sandwich? Now on the side, I'm going to add just one of these coconut cookies. And then for a special mocktail, I'm making a blue Hawaiian Stitch Punch. This is just a little bit of pineapple juice mixed with a little bit of berry blue Hawaiian Punch. And of course, I have to add a cherry umbrella on top. You guys, this drink turned out so pretty. I love it. Okay guys, now I'm super excited about this next one because I'm making breakfast for lunch. I'm going to start by adding some of these fully cooked turkey sausages to my air fryer. And once those are done, I'm just gonna cut these into small pieces. Next, you're gonna need 1 can of regular biscuit dough. And like I said, this is the regular kind, not the flaky layer kind. Oh yes, and I'm just cutting these into 3 pieces. I'm gonna take 2 of those pieces and press them into the bottom of each little muffin section, followed by a few chunks of that sausage. And then you guys, next comes the eggs. And you really only need 6 eggs for one recipe, but I ended up doubling this recipe because I wanted to have some of these to keep in my freezer for later. And that's a really great thing about these sausage breakfast biscuits. You really could use these to meal prep. You just make some extra, keep them in the freezer, and then reheat them in the microwave whenever you need some. My kids are going back to school really soon, so I'm hoping to meal prep lots of breakfast items just like these. Now lastly, I just topped each of these with some cheddar cheese, and then these go in the oven at 350 for about 20 to 25 minutes. And you guys, when they're done, they should look something like this. I basically have a sausage, egg, and cheese biscuit in a muffin form. Now, these ones have completely cooled down, so I can add them into our lunchbox. Next, for the fruit, I'm adding in an orange and some strawberries. And for the veggie, I have just enough space to add some celery on either side of our breakfast muffins. Now, keeping with the breakfast theme, I wanted to add some kind of yogurt, and I was able to find these drinkable ones at Target. You guys, these are so cute because each little bottle has a little Pixar character on the outside. I was able to find a Mike Wazowski and a Sully from Monsters. I found the Toy Story gang, some of the Incredibles. I also found Miguel from Coco and Doug from Up. And I am most excited to find Nemo and Dory from Finding Nemo. And you guys, I don't know what it is about Pixar movies in general, but I swear every single one has made me cry at some point. Next, for a little salty sweet snack, I'm going to add some of these caramel rice cakes. And then for the drink, I'm adding a little box of this Honest Kids apple juice. Next up, I have Jackson with me.
Hi.
And for this one, we're going to start by making a delicious and addicting snack mix first. If you love ranch flavored things, you're gonna want to try this recipe.
To a bowl, I'm adding 1 cup of knockoff Chex cereal. Next, I'm adding 1 cup of oyster crackers, then 1 cup of goldfish pretzels, and then 1 cup of rainbow goldfish.
Next, Jackson is going to drizzle about 2 tablespoons of melted butter all over the mix. And this is unsalted butter because everything else is going to be salty enough when we're done.
Once I have this all coated in butter,
and then I'm going to measure 2 tablespoons of some dry ranch seasoning powder.
That gets sprinkled on, and then everything gets mixed together.
Next, we're gonna pour this onto a baking sheet, and you have to cook this at 300 for about 12 minutes. Oh yes, and we're gonna flip it midway through. Now while that's happening, we're gonna move on to the main course. And for this, Jackson is going to make a pizza grilled cheese for everyone. Now you don't have to have one of these sandwich makers. You could just use a regular pan, but I do often see these sandwich makers at thrift stores for like $2. So if you're interested, definitely check the thrift store.
I added mozzarella, turkey pepperoni, more mozzarella, then some Parmesan and garlic herb seasoning.
Once the sandwiches are nice and crispy on the outside, they're done. And next time, we'd probably add a bit more cheese, so just a bit of a cheese pull on these. Now to go along with the pizza grilled cheese, we're also going to add some pizza sauce on the side to dip the sandwiches in.
And then for the fruit and veggies. For the fruit, I chose apple slices. And for the veggie, some celery.
To go with the apples and the celery, we love making this peanut butter cookie dough yogurt dip. It is so good, but easy to make. All we do is combine vanilla Greek yogurt, a little bit of peanut butter, a little bit of honey, and then a splash of vanilla extract. Once that's all mixed together, we'll also add about a tablespoon of mini chocolate chips. Now this is tasty just on its own, but it's also really nice to dip your apple slices and your celery in here. So now that the ranch mix has cooled down, we can go ahead and add it into the lunch. Now we have just enough space for a few mini Chips Ahoy.
And then, for the drink, I chose a watermelon Capri Sun.
Now that brings me to a lunch request for a book-themed lunch. For the main course, I'm going to make some book-shaped sandwiches using bread and tortilla. For the filling of the sandwich, both bacon and lettuce were requested, but I'm going to add a bit more to that. I'm going to put together a chicken salad with mayo, ranch dressing powder, some bacon crumbles, and some cheddar cheese. So this is like a bacon ranch loaded chicken salad. Next, I'm going to cut the bread into little book shapes. I'll add a bit of mayo and a scoop of that bacon ranch chicken salad. Oh yes, and I can't forget the lettuce. Next, to make these look like little books, I'm just cutting my tortilla into strips that are long enough to wrap around the sandwich. Now at this point, I'm going to add a bit of cream cheese, and this is going to act like the glue to keep that tortilla stuck to the bread. Then I just wrap the tortilla around like this. And to make these look more like books, you could just take some food writer pens to draw in some details. Now I do have to say, sometimes it's a bit challenging to use these food writer pens, especially since things like tortilla and bread are rough and bumpy, but just try your best, it is definitely going to be good enough. For the fruit, I got a request for heart-shaped strawberries. And for the veggie, some carrots. I'm just adding some shredded carrots with a few cucumbers to go along with them. For the snack, pickles were requested, so I'm just gonna add some of these dilly bites. You guys, these are such a tasty snack, if you like pickles, that is. And in fact, the kids and I just recently took a trip back to California, and these pickles were the snack that I brought for the airplane. I love them so much. Next, some honey flavored cookies were requested, so I'm just adding these bunny shaped honey grams. And then you guys, I almost forgot the ranch. And then for a sweet treat, chocolate vanilla yogurt was requested. And the only kind I could find was this French style yogurt. But you guys, this one is really tasty. It has a really thick vanilla yogurt with small pieces of chocolate shavings mixed in. I'm gonna add that to the bowl and then top it off with some granola. And to make it extra pretty, I'm just adding a strawberry on top. And then lastly, for the drink, I'm supposed to add in some strawberry lemonade, and to make this extra fancy, I've just added a few slices of fresh strawberry in here too. As always, I hope you enjoyed these fun lunch ideas, and don't forget to vote down below on which one you think was the winner. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next week. Okay guys, next up I'm making a Bluey themed lunch. This one doesn't require any cooking, it's quick to put together, and it's picky eater approved. For the main course, I'm making a classic PB&J, but my bread is a little bit too small for my Bluey cookie cutter. So I'm just gonna roll it out a bit before I cut out the shape. And you guys, I made this cutter with my 3D printer, but you can find similar ones on Amazon or on Etsy. So after the peanut butter layer, I'm going to add some of this blueberry jam. And you guys, I could not resist. I love making these stamped sandwiches. That way I can pretty much make any themed sandwich I want. Next, for the fruit, I'm going to cut out some paw-shaped watermelon. And to go along with that, I'm also adding some paw-shaped cantaloupe. Now, you can't have a Bluey lunch without blueberries, so I'm also adding those. And you guys, I've heard that Bluey's favorite food is fruit salad, so I'm definitely adding a lot of fruit into this lunch. To go along with that, I'm also adding some cucumber slices and some cheese cubes. Next, I'm going to add some Scooby snacks. Now, I know that these look a lot like dog treats, but they actually taste like cinnamon graham crackers. Oh yes, and I do not want to forget the ranch to dip the cucumbers in. For the sweet treat, I was able to find these bluey themed fruit snacks at Walmart. And you guys, these are so cute. I'm just gonna throw this little bag on the side. And then last but not least, for the drink, I'm just adding some water, but I put it in our bluey water bottle. Comes from Grayson from Texas, and he actually didn't say what food to put in this lunch just to make it a Jurassic Park theme. So I decided to start with the dessert first. I recently picked up this brownie mix at Walmart and I thought it would be perfect for this lunch. This box comes with the mix itself, but it also comes with dino bone shaped sprinkles and these little spoons that are shaped like shovels. Now basically you just make the brownie mix with your oil, your water, and your eggs. Now once that's mixed all together, you just pour it into your pan, and then the instructions say to add half of the sprinkles. You're supposed to mix these into the batter, and then the rest of the sprinkles just go on top. Now once the brownies are baked and cooled, the idea is that you can go digging around in the brownies with your little spoon shovel, and you get to kind of excavate the dino bones in the brownies. I think this is such a cute idea and would be perfect for birthday parties. So now for the main course, I was able to find these Jurassic Park chicken nuggets, and I'm just going to add some of these to my air fryer. Now while those are cooking, I'm going to move on to the fruit and veggies. First, I'm going to cut up some watermelon, and I want these to kind of look like watermelon fries. To go along with those, I'm also adding some green grapes. And then over on the other side, I'm going to add some celery, some carrots, and some cherry tomatoes. Now to go along with the dino nuggets, I'm going to throw together some simple mashed potatoes. Now, of course, you could make these from scratch, but I'm going for easy today. Now, I'm going to take these mashed potatoes and I'm going to try to mound them up on the plate so it kind of looks like a volcano. Next, I'm going to add just a few pieces of broccoli all around my potato volcano. And after that comes the fun part. I'm just gonna place a few of these dino nuggets in the mashed potatoes just like they're standing around the volcano. Now on the side, I have just enough space for these Jurassic Park crackers. And as you can see, they claim to be dinosaur approved. But honestly, you guys, I don't think that these crackers really look like dinos at all. And I do have to say that at least half of this bag came broken. And now you guys, I could not put together a Jurassic Park themed lunch without adding some kind of green jello. I feel like that's such an iconic moment from the original movie. Now, I remember watching this part as a kid and I was so scared. You guys will have to let me know in the comments down below if you've ever seen the original Jurassic Park movie. I still think that one is the best, and I think as a kid it was really scary.
Welcome to Jurassic Park.
For this next lunch, I'm kind of going with a monster theme, but I also have the challenge of making all of the food in this lunch either be round or circle shaped. Now for the main course, I got a request to make some combo pizza rolls. And honestly, I could just throw a couple of these in my air fryer and call it good, but instead I'm going to make another semi-homemade recipe, and these pizza rolls are actually going to be round. Now to make this a combination pizza, I've already cut some turkey pepperoni into smaller pieces, and I have a bit of cooked sausage that's ready to go. Next, I'm going to use my food chopper to dice up some green bell pepper and some purple onion, and I want these to be in really small pieces. For my dough, I'm just going to use this Pillsbury ready to go kind, but honestly, you could use any pizza dough you'd like if you'd like to make these yourself. And I did go ahead and spray my board with a little bit of olive oil just to make sure that my dough doesn't stick. First, I'm adding on the pizza sauce, and I'm really just adding a thin layer. You don't want too much. Next, I'm adding a sprinkle of garlic and herb seasoning. And then the rest of the toppings. I have cheese, pepperoni, sausage, the peppers and onion, and then a bit more cheese to glue it all together. Next, I'm just gonna roll this up as tightly as I can. I'll cut these into small pieces and then add them to my baking tray. Now these cook at 350 for about 10 to 12 minutes, and I like to serve these with a little bit of marinara sauce for dipping. For the fruit, I had a request for blueberries. And for the veggie, a request for cucumbers. I'll add some ranch on the side, and then for a snack, I had a request for either hot fries or hot Cheetos, but because I'm looking for only round-shaped foods, I was able to find these flaming hot Cheeto balls. And check it out, you guys, these are like neon orange. They are so bright. and they really do smell spicy. Now for the sweet treat, I had a request for either chocolate dipped bananas or banana pudding. So I'm gonna kind of combine the two by making a chocolate banana pudding. First, I'm adding a layer of chocolate pudding, next a layer of vanilla wafers, followed by lots of sliced bananas. I'll add one more layer of chocolate pudding, then I'll top that off with some Cool Whip, some crushed wafers, and a slice of banana. And then for the drink, I'm making a super simple Monster Punch, and for this I'm just using the Skittles Kiwi Lime flavored water. Okay guys, next up is a really unique lunch idea, and this one was sent in by Savannah from Arizona. Now for her main course, she requested something a little bit unusual, but it actually sounds really good. She asked for a spaghetti sandwich. Now personally, I think it's really fun to make strange food combinations if they taste good. In fact, a couple of years ago, I did make a spaghetti taco. That was really good, but I've never made a spaghetti sandwich before. Now to make this easy, Savannah actually sent me a link to the recipe she wanted me to make. It starts off with just some leftover spaghetti. This kind just has pasta and sauce. Next comes an Italian style roll. Now I'm just gonna slice this open, and then you're supposed to spread on some butter and then sprinkle that with garlic. Now I'm actually using a salt-free garlic and herb blend because I love this stuff. I add this to just about everything these days. And now I'm going to add this bread to a warm skillet and cook it until it is toasted. So basically, you're kind of making a garlic bread to start. And now to this, I'm just going to add some of that warmed up spaghetti. On top of that, I'm going to add extra sauce, and then I'll top everything with some Parmesan cheese. And then that is all there is to it. It looks like a lot of carbs, but it smells really good. Now you guys, let me know in the comments down below, would you try this sandwich? And now on to the fruit. Savannah asked for some strawberry, banana, and kiwi skewers. And then for her veggie, some tomato and cucumber skewers. For a salty snack, she asked for poppables. Oh yes, and I'm also going to add in some ranch to go with the veggies. And then for the sweet treat, a dessert pizza. Now to make this, Savannah said to take some bread, and I'm just going to cut this into a flower shape. Personally, I love to save the crust like this. And then in the morning, I like to make something called a bird's nest. That's where you actually cook the egg inside of the bread. So yeah, definitely save your crusts if you'd like to give that a try. Now to the bread, Savannah said to spread on something like Nutella or cookie butter, but I recently found this granola butter, so I'm going to give that a try. This is nut-free and it doesn't have a ton of sugar, but you do have to mix it up quite a bit. This really does taste like granola in a liquid form. And then lastly, Savannah said to just add some fruit directly on top of the bread. And now, last but not least, for her drink, she requested any flavor of Capri Sun. And since I know she likes strawberry and I know she likes kiwi, that's what I decided to go with. Okay friends, today I'm starting things off with a lunch idea sent in by Prachi from India, and she requested a rainbow themed lunch. Now, I was super excited to see Prachi's request because I love making rainbow lunches. They're some of my favorite lunches to make. And if you guys have a rainbow lunch idea you'd like to see me make, just go ahead and leave it in the comments down below, and be sure to use the hashtag FudgeFam. That way I'll be sure to see it. Now, Prachi requested that I put this lunch together in rainbow order. So to represent the color red, I'm gonna start by adding these cherry tomatoes. And then for the color orange, I'm just gonna take a navel orange, and I always like to cut these into smiles. My kids really like them this way too. For the color yellow, Prachi requested some kind of yellow chip, and I decided to go with some classic Funyuns. But you guys, I would love to know in the comments down below, what are your favorite kind of chips? So now moving on to the color green, and for this, Prachi sent me a very interesting recipe for mac and cheese. Now, it starts off with a box of white cheddar mac and cheese, and you really could use any brand. I'm just gonna go with the classic Kraft mac and cheese, and I'm going to cook the macaroni in a separate pot. In this pot, however, I'm going to prepare the special cheesy green sauce. First, I'm melting about 2 tablespoons of butter. Then to this, I'm adding a pinch of chili flakes, a little bit of salt, and then comes the pesto. And you guys, I always like to mix my pesto with a little bit of whipped cottage cheese. This makes it extra creamy and thick, but that part is totally optional. If you want to make this, you could just add regular pesto as well. Next, I'm adding in some milk, and you're gonna want to add however much milk your box of mac and cheese calls for, followed by the cheese packet from my box of mac and cheese. And you guys, to make sure that I get all of the lumps out, I do like to whisk this together until completely smooth. And to check it out, you guys, this smells so good because of all of the garlic in that pesto. And it really does have a very nice green color to it. And I really think that's because I used a box of white mac and cheese instead of yellow. So now moving on to the color blue, first I'm adding some blueberries. And then to go along with that, some blueberry yogurt. And to make this extra blue, I'm just adding a few sprinkles right on top. Next up is the color purple, which can be kind of a challenge, but I decided to go with a purple drink. And you guys, this is one of my favorites. It's basically a taro smoothie. Now, if you guys have ever been to a boba shop, this is pretty much the same type of mixes that you can find there. But did you know that you can actually buy this flavor and lots of other boba shop flavors on Amazon, and then you can just make them at home? And now, technically, I know that pink isn't in a real rainbow, but I'm going to add it in anyway. Prachi requested some kind of pink cupcake or muffin. And you guys, when I saw these pink snowballs in the store, I thought they would be perfect. If you've never heard of these, they're kind of a retro treat. They were first introduced back in 1947. And basically, they're kind of a simple dome chocolate cake. This also has a creamy filling, and it's covered with either white or pink marshmallow. And then of course there's coconut on the outside. You guys, these are super squishy. It's almost like biting into a squishmallow. Now you guys have to let me know in the comments down below if you ever tried a snowball before. And there you have it, guys. That is everything in this lunch. But I really like the idea that sisters Audrey and Juliet from Florida sent in. For their lunch, I'm starting with the sweet treat first, since that's going to take a little bit of time to set up. Audrey and Juliet requested blue Jello. So this is just some blue raspberry Jello, and I'm going to make them in the Jello Jiggler style. Now that just means you add a lot less water to the Jello. That way it comes out a lot more firm, and you can actually pick it up and cut it into shapes. Now I love the idea of adding blue Jello to an elemental themed lunch because there's a lot of water in this movie, so Jello goes perfectly with the theme. Now while the Jello is setting up in the fridge, I'm going to move on to the main course. And for this one, Audrey and Juliet requested spicy buffalo wings. And you guys, since my kids are the ones actually taste testing these lunches, I decided to go with these boneless buffalo wings because my kids like these a lot better and they're not too spicy. Now to cook these, I'm just going to add a couple to my air fryer for just a few minutes. Oh yeah, and I am testing out this new silicone air fryer liner. It's supposed to make cleanup a lot easier. Previously, I've been using some parchment paper air fryer liners, but I recently found out that those can easily catch on fire, which is not fine, so I'm not planning on using those paper kind anymore. Now, to go along with these hot wings, we definitely need a cooling element. So I'm gonna go ahead and add some ranch on the side to dip the chicken in, and I'm also adding enough ranch in here to go with our veggie that's coming up as well. Next, for their fruit, Audrey and Juliet requested strawberries and blueberries. That red and the blue definitely represent our main characters, and to make these extra fun, I just added them to some skewers. Now, to go along with this, they also requested bell peppers. I'm using a red one and a yellow one. And to go along with our theme, I'm going to cut them to look like the flame of a fire. Now for a salty snack, I'm adding both a spicy chip and a cooling chip. Now the spicy ones look like Pringles, but they actually taste like Takis, so they're definitely spicy. And then for the cooler chips, I have some mini Cool Ranch Doritos. Now honestly, these taste just like regular Cool Ranch Doritos. They're just a lot smaller. But honestly, I think these just look like the little broken chips that you might find at the bottom of a regular bag of chips. So definitely a little gimmicky. Although I do like a gimmick now and then. Okay you guys, so now that our Jello is nice and firm, I can go ahead and add it onto our tray, and I just love how it jiggles. Now to make this dessert even more cool, I'm also going to add a dollop of Cool Whip, and then I also want to make sure to include that element of fire. So I'm just going to garnish the top of this with a few cinnamon sprinkles. Now, last but not least, for the drink, I'm starting off with some of these strawberry bursting boba. I'm going to add those to the bottom, and honestly, I probably added too many, but that's okay. And then to go with this, Audrey and Juliet requested blue Kool-Aid. I just love this combination of red with the blue. I think it looks so pretty. Plus, it goes really well with a fire and water theme for the movie Elemental. Okay friends, we're kicking off the week with Mackenzie in charge.
Hi guys!
And for the main course, we're going to try out a copycat recipe for Mackenzie's favorite Costco item. You want to tell them what it is?
It's the food court chicken bake.
We're going to prep our space here with some flour so that our dough doesn't stick. And technically, you're supposed to use pizza dough for this. But number one, my store didn't have any fresh pizza dough available. And number two, I want to make this quick and easy. So I'm taking a shortcut by using crescent dough instead. Oh, and I'm cutting this into 4 pieces.
And Then I'm going to pinch the seams together like this.
Now, our chicken bakes aren't going to be as big as the ones from Costco, but I'm cool with that because I think they are ginormous. Next comes the Caesar dressing.
We're just gonna spread some out all over the dough.
For our chicken, we're taking another shortcut from the store, and we're just using this kind that is frozen but already cooked. So all I have to do is pop it in the microwave. But if you have a rotisserie chicken or some leftover chicken, this would be an excellent way to use it up. Now, Costco chicken bakes also have bacon in them, so I have this kind that just has to be microwaved for a few minutes.
And once they're done, we have to break it all into small pieces.
A few years ago, they used to have green onions in the chicken bakes themselves, but I've heard that they don't have them anymore. Is that true?
We're gonna add them anyway.
Then we're gonna top that with some shredded mozzarella
and some Parmesan cheese.
Next, we're going to carefully roll these up and hopefully they won't fall apart. And then they're gonna get brushed with more Caesar dressing.
And we'll add more Parmesan on top.
Yeah, because those chicken bakes always have like a cheesy crust on the outside, and that's the look that we're hoping for. Now these go in the oven at 450 for about 10 to 12 minutes. And you guys check these out now that they're done.
These smell so good.
Yeah, they really do smell like the Costco chicken bakes. They're not exactly the same, but I think they're pretty close. Now moving on to the fruit and veggie.
For the fruit, I chose strawberries. And for the veggies, I chose Caesar salad. For a snack on the side, I'm adding some of the Caesar Snap Pea Crisps.
And then for the sweet treat, I made Mackenzie's favorite 2-ingredient fall muffins this morning. And here's how I made them. All you're gonna need is 1 box of spice cake mix, and to this you also need to add 1 can of pumpkin puree. And that's pumpkin puree, not pumpkin pie mix. Now this batter is really thick because you're not adding oil or water or eggs. So I really think an electric mixer comes in handy for this. Otherwise, you're going to get an arm workout when trying to mix this by hand. This next part is optional, but we really love to add chocolate chips into these muffins as well. So once I've mixed those in, I just use my scooper to get the batter into my silicone pan. And I am a huge fan of silicone pans because then I don't have to worry about my muffins sticking. And you guys, if you make these 2 or 3 ingredient muffins, just know that because these have a lot of pumpkin in them, they do come out a little bit more dense and chewy instead of light and fluffy. I added a few extra chocolate chips to the top so they would look nice, and then these go in the oven at 350 for about 20 to 25 minutes. And here's how they came out. The perfect amount of pumpkin. I love the gooey chocolate, and they're really nice and squishy. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I am ready for all the pumpkin themed treats and the fall weather because I am ready.
And lastly, for the drink, I'm adding this orange Olipop.
Next up, I have a birthday lunch request. This was sent in by Isaac from Ohio, and he asked for a Minecraft theme. Now again, I'm gonna start with the sweet treat first. And for his birthday, Isaac requested a Rice Krispie treat. Now, I already went ahead and made a small batch of chocolate Rice Krispie treats. all I did for this was swap out regular rice cereal for the chocolate version. And I cut these into squares. To go along with our Minecraft theme, I'm just going to add a thin layer of green frosting. Then I'm dipping each one into some green sprinkles. That way these treats look like a grass block. These came out so cute and they were really easy to make. For the main course, Isaac requested a Minecraft sandwich. This is getting mayo and a little bit of mustard. I'll spread that out. Then it's getting some salami, some cheddar cheese, and some lettuce. Next, I'm punching out a creeper face. And just like that, I have a Minecraft peekaboo sandwich. For Isaac's fruit, I'm adding some blocks of watermelon, banana, and kiwi. And for Isaac's veggie, I'm adding some blocks of cucumber and carrots. I'll add some ranch on the side to go with the veggies. I was able to find these Minecraft Pringles at Target. Now it says that these are suspicious stew flavored, but I'm not really sure what that is supposed to taste like. So I'm gonna go ahead and give these a try. Now after tasting these myself, I'd say they're kind of like a smoky, oniony barbecue flavor, but they're also a little bit spicy. I'll add just a few of those. Next, I'll add in the treat with a happy birthday pic. And lastly, for the drink, Isaac requested pink lemonade, and I'm just adding this to our Minecraft sipper. Okay guys, now that brings me to our mini themed lunch. But like I said, not mini like the mouse, I mean mini as in small. For this lunch, I'm starting with the sweet treat first. I'm just mixing up some classic chocolate chip cookie dough. But you guys, this is really stiff because my butter wasn't quite room temperature like it was supposed to be.
One eternity later.
Now, to this cookie dough, I'm also adding a tube of mini M&Ms. And to balance out all the sweet, I'm also throwing in a little peanut butter powder. Now personally, I love all things peanut butter, but if I didn't have the powdered peanut butter, I'd probably just add in some of the regular stuff. Now when it comes to scooping out the dough, I'm definitely going to use my mini-sized scooper. But to make these even smaller, I'm actually going to cut this into 4. That way we're going to be left with mini bite-sized cookies. Now once I have all of the cookies on my pan and they're nice and rolled out, I'm going to stick them in the oven. Now while those are baking, I'm going to move on to the main course, which is kind of like a mini quesadilla. Instead of using a regular sized tortilla, of course, I'm going with a mini version. And to these, I'm going to start by spreading on just a little bit of beans. Next, I'm adding a generous amount of cheese, and for some extra flavor, I'm just adding a little bit of salsa. Now, my kids do like a little bit of spice, but not too much. Also, I know from experience that if I add too much salsa, it's just gonna leak out into the lunchbox and make everything soggy. Now to go with our mini quesadillas, I have a mini sour cream and a mini guacamole for dipping. The dips are going on one side and our mini quesadillas on the other. Next, for the fruit, instead of adding regular melon balls, I'm gonna scoop out a bunch of mini melon balls. Now I know this looks like a lot of extra work, cutting out all the fruit and the veggies in this entire video, but you guys, I used to work at Edible Arrangements, so cutting out fruit shapes is not a lot of work to me. Now after those mini melon balls, I'm gonna cut up some mini cucumbers. I'll add those in, and then instead of regular carrots, I'm adding some mini baby carrots. On the side, I'm adding some of these mini bite-sized tortilla chips. These ones are cheesy flavored. And now that they are freshly baked and fully cooled down, I can finally add our mini M&M and peanut butter cookies. And you guys, I just love how these turned out. They are so little and cute, and I love all the colorful M&Ms on top. Now, I do want to remember the ranch to go with all the veggies. And then last but not least, for the drink, I'm just adding in a mini can of strawberry lemonade. Okay guys, now that brings us to Griffin's lunch, which is going to be super quick and easy to put together, since he's the youngest. For his sandwich, he's going to use one of our DIY Uncrustable makers, and I really do like this set from Amazon. And if you guys are doing any back to school shopping right now, I will add a link to all of the products that I use in the description box below.
I already cut my bread into a Mickey shape.
And then I'm just gonna press the center down a bit to make room for the filling.
I'm adding some smooth peanut butter and some grape jelly.
Now to make this into an Uncrustable, you just have to close up the sandwich, add the cutter back on, and then with the ridged piece, you just press down firmly to create a seal. This turned out so cute. You did a great job.
Thanks. For the fruit, I chose grape. And for the veggie, some baby carrots.
We're also adding some ranch to go with those. And then for a snack on the side, Griffin's going to add some of these cheese cubes. For the sweet treat, Griffin chose some Jammy Dodgers. Now I'm pretty sure that these cookies come from the UK, but basically they're just like 2 little shortbread cookies with a strawberry jam filling. And then lastly, we got you a special drink, right?
Yeah.
Who made this drink?
Unspeakable.
And what is Unspeakable?
YouTube.
A YouTuber? Do you watch them?
Yes.
You guys let us know in the comments down below if you watch
Unspeakable.
Because apparently they're YouTubers and they also make juice now.
Yes.
For this lunch, I decided to make some ham and cheese quesadillas. but I wanted them to look like a howler from Harry Potter. I started by cutting my tortillas into squares. Next, I added cheese, some ham, and then extra cheese. Then I folded the tortillas so that they would look like an envelope. Then you guys, I just toasted these up in a pan like you would a regular quesadilla. And then once they were cooled down enough, I was able to use my Food Writer pens to draw on some angry eyes and a mouth. And overall, I think these really do look like angry letters. For the fruits and veggies, first I added yellow carrots to represent the Hufflepuff house. Next, some red tomatoes to represent Gryffindor. Some green celery to represent Slytherin, and some blue blueberries to represent Ravenclaw. Now, for a sweet treat, I decided to add some butter beer pudding. Now, this is actually just some butterscotch pudding, but it tastes very similar to butterbeer. And I also added just a few golden snitch sprinkles right on top. Next to the pudding, I had just enough space for a few salt and vinegar poppables. And then lastly, for the drink, I put together some polyjuice potion. This was really just some lemon and lime flavored water. Okay guys, this next lunch is super creative. This request comes from Brinley from Utah, and for her lunch, she just asked if all of the food could start with the letter B. And you guys, I'm guessing that's because her name starts with the letter B. Now, I love lunch challenges like this, and for her main course, I decided to make something delicious with bagels. Now, I couldn't decide at first whether I wanted mini bagels or regular bagels, but my son Griffin picked out the big ones for me, and he's actually going to be helping me turn them into pizzas. Now, honestly, I really do like these bigger bagels for this, and that's because the edges get nice and crispy, but the inside of the bagel stays nice and soft, so it's really a tasty combo. And you guys, I'm trying some new things with this recipe. First, I'm going to prep our pepperoni. I recently saw this hack, and even though it does seem a little bit strange, I'm going to give it a try. Basically, you're supposed to spread out your pepperoni onto a plate with a paper towel, and then you microwave this for about 30 seconds. Once out of the microwave, you're supposed to blot out some of the oil, just like this. Now, I'm guessing that the idea is that your pizza won't be as greasy when it's done, but we shall see. Next, I'm going to freshly grate some mozzarella cheese. Now, honestly, I normally just grab the pre-shredded stuff because it's super quick and easy, but I read that if you use freshly grated cheese, that it's going to melt a lot better. Next, Griffin and I are spreading out about 1 tablespoon of pizza sauce. We want to make sure that these have enough sauce so that they're not dry, but we don't add too much sauce, otherwise they might get soggy and be super messy. Next comes that freshly grated cheese, followed by the half-cooked pepperoni. Now, I was planning on sprinkling on some Parmesan cheese, but you guys, when I opened this container, I could immediately tell that it had gone off. It smelled so funky. So today I'm not using any Parmesan cheese. We're just gonna leave that out. Now instead, I'm just going to finish these off with some herb and garlic seasoning. I love this stuff. And then these go in the oven, or you could put them in the air fryer at 350 for about 10 to 12 minutes. And you just want to cook them until the cheese is nice and melted and the edges of the bagel are crispy. While those are cooking, I'll move on to the fruit. For the letter B, I'm going to add a baby banana, and to go with this, some berries on the side. For Brinley's veggie, I'll add some broccoli. And then for her snack on the side, some princess yogurt.
But yogurt doesn't start with the letter B.
It's true, yogurt doesn't start with the letter B, but I am hoping that there's going to be a Bell yogurt in this pack. And there she is, that worked out perfectly. There's also a Rapunzel, an Ariel, and a Jasmine. Now moving on to the sweet treat, I'm adding a brownie, well, a cosmic brownie to be exact. And just like that, our bagels are ready to go. These look and smell so good. And you guys, check out that cheese pull. I really think that's because I used that freshly grated cheese. And now last but not least, for the drink, I'm just throwing in a Bell-topped Good to Grow. Next up this week was a lunch picked out by Lily, and for her lunch, we're starting with one of her favorite sweet treats first. We're putting together some no-bake peanut butter protein cookie balls.
To our bowl, I'm adding half a cup of creamy natural peanut butter. I'm also adding 3 tablespoons of honey, 1 teaspoon of vanilla, and half a cup of old-fashioned oats.
This next part is optional, but if you wanted to, you could also add 1 scoop of your favorite protein powder. Now, we really like this chocolate one, so I'm adding 1 scoop of this. And then lastly, Lily's gonna add 1 pinch of salt. And then we're gonna mix it all together. Now you guys, if your mixture is looking too wet, add a little bit more oats. But if it's looking too dry, you're gonna wanna add more peanut butter.
Next, I'm going to add some mini chocolate chips and some mini M&Ms.
And basically, if your dough can form a ball without falling apart, it's good to go. Lily and I are just going to keep scooping and rolling these into balls, and then we'll pop them in the fridge to harden up. For Lily's main course, she wants to make her favorite sandwich that she invented herself, and it starts with a bagel thin.
I'm going to add this to my toaster, and while that's happening, I'm going to cook some bacon.
But you guys, this is the microwave kind, so it's really easy for her to do.
And I like the bacon extra crispy.
She means almost burnt.
It's good that way. Once my bagel is toasted, I'm going to add some onion and chive cream cheese. Next, I'll add the bacon, and I don't always add it. But if we have some lettuce, I like to add that too. And it's everything in my special sandwich. For my fruit, I chose cutie oranges. And for the veggie, I chose broccoli. But I only like broccoli if it's fresh and not cooked. And I always like to have it with ranch on the side. For a snack, I chose some white Cheeto Puffs.
And for the sweet treat, here are those protein balls. And then finally, for the drink, we're adding a pink lemonade Honest Kids juice. Finn's main course, he decided on this Spider-Man mac and cheese, but with a few additions. Now, whenever I cook pasta like this, I really try not to overcook it, otherwise the shapes tend to fall apart. For the sauce itself, I started by letting the butter get nice and brown. Then I added the milk, and I usually double the amount of milk that the box calls for, because we like our mac and cheese extra saucy. After that, I added in both of the cheese packets, and yes, I'm making a big batch of this mac and cheese because really, I'm feeding all the kids. Now, because Griffin asked if I could make this into pizza mac and cheese, I also added a few handfuls of mini pepperoni, about a tablespoon of pizza sauce, and some garlic and herb seasoning. Once I had that all mixed together, I added back in the pasta and gave it a stir. Then I finished it off with some freshly grated mozzarella. This pizza mac and cheese is so good and really easy to put together. For Griffin's fruit, he chose strawberries and an orange. And for his veggies, more of those carrot-stuffed cucumbers. For a snack on the side, he picked these French onion sun chips. And for a sweet treat, I was able to find these birthday cake Kit Kat. Now these ones are the mini ones, and they're actually made with white chocolate and sprinkles. Lastly, for his drink, his favorite is chocolate milk. So I wanted to put together some kind of Hot Wheels themed lunch. For the main course, instead of using regular sandwich bread, I decided to use these bagel thins. Now I think these kind of look like tires already, and I ended up using them inside out. Now these sandwiches got peanut butter, they got banana slices, and they also got some strawberry slices instead of jam. And then just for fun, I also placed some cheese on top, and my goal was to spell out Hot Wheels. For the fruit, I cut some watermelon into circles, and I also cut some pineapple into circles. To go with that, I also sliced up some cucumber, and the idea is that with the red and yellow and green, that you're kind of getting a traffic light kind of vibe. Next, for a salty snack, I picked up some of these nacho flavored bugles. You guys, these totally remind me of a traffic cone, so they're perfect for this lunch. And then for a sweet treat, sticking with that traffic light vibe, I put together these Rice Krispie treats. You guys, these are so easy to make for any sort of Cars themed lunch. You just cut your Rice Krispies into rectangles. Then, using frosting, you're just gonna stick some yellow, red, and green M&Ms right on top. On the side, I added some extra carrots and tomatoes. And then because they look like little wheels, I also threw in a handful of these multi-grain Cheerios. And then you guys, for the drink, I didn't really have anything car themed, but I did have a Mickey and the Roadster Racers apple juice. A lunch idea sent in by Ara from the Philippines, and for her lunch she requested a Mickey Mouse theme. For her main course, she asked if I could either make a Mickey Mouse or a Ferris wheel shaped sandwich, and I think I could make both. I have just the thing. For the filling of the sandwich, Ara requested peanut butter and peach jam. I love that combination. That sounds so good. And then to make the sandwich look even more like a Mickey Ferris wheel, I'm going to use my food writer pens to fill in my sandwich stamp. Check it out, you guys. This turned out so cute. Now, to go along with this little sandwich, I'm also going to make up some of this Mickey mac and cheese. I love that this comes in a single cup, so I don't have to make more than one serving. And this pasta has little Mickey, Minnie Mouse, and bunny shapes in here. Next, for her fruit, Ara requested strawberries cut into heart shapes. And for her veggie, she asked for Mickey Mouse shaped carrots and cucumber sticks, and some ranch to go along with them. And then for the snack on the side, she asked for goldfish. And you guys, these ones are for the 100th anniversary of Disney, so they have Woody, Donald, and Minnie Mouse shapes. And now for the sweet treat, I'm adding some of these bite-sized Mickey Mouse Rice Krispie treats. But if you guys ever want to make the big Rice Krispie treats, just like the ones made in the parks, I do have a separate video on how I like to make those, so definitely check that out. I'll link it down below. It's definitely an oldie, but a goodie. And then finally for her drink, I'm adding in a Mickey Mouse Top Good to Grow. Okay guys, now that brings me to a lunch idea sent in by Sadie. Now Sadie is from Australia and she requested a birthday themed lunch. For her main course, I'm going to make 2 different things with bread that I hear are popular in Australia. Now the first thing I'm making is called fairy bread. Now I know I've talked about fairy bread on this channel a lot before, but apparently this is a standard thing that you find at a lot of birthday parties in Australia. It is super fun and colorful, but for some reason whenever I make this, I cannot make it without getting sprinkles everywhere. So now for the other sandwich, I'm going to use a little bit of Vegemite with some cheddar cheese. And I'm gonna try to make this look like a cupcake to go along with the birthday theme. Next, for Sadie's fruit, she requested a fruit salad. This is gonna have strawberries, peaches, kiwi, and oranges. And I'm not done there. This is also going to get 1 scoop of vanilla yogurt and a splash of lemon or lime juice. So this is definitely more of a creamy style fruit salad. Next, for her veggie, she asked for crinkle cut cucumbers with some ranch. And then on the side, she requested Pringles. Now these are actually the sour cream and onion flavored ones. And then for her sweet treat, Sadie asked for a cherry Krispy Kreme donut. Now you guys know I love Krispy Kreme, that's my favorite, but at the stores near me, you cannot find a cherry flavored donut right now. So instead, I just picked up a box of these mini donuts. These ones have cinnamon and sugar and powdered sugar. They're not quite as fancy, but they do smell really good, and I have just enough space to add in one right here. Now to finish off Sadie's lunch, she requested a drink called Solo, and I couldn't find that in Florida either, but I was able to find something that I think is similar, and this is just a sparkling lemon drink. Okay guys, that brings me to a lunch idea sent in by Faith from Malaysia. And for her lunch, she requested a Hello Kitty theme. For her main course, she asked for Hello Kitty waffles. Now, I don't actually own a Hello Kitty waffle maker. Shocking, I know, since I do own a lot of different waffle irons. I do, however, own a Hello Kitty grilled cheese maker, so I'm hoping that this will kind of work for making a waffle. For the waffle batter itself, I don't want to leave this just plain. I want this to look like a pink funfetti cake. First, I'm adding just a touch of pink coloring. And then to make these taste more like a cake, I'm going to add both vanilla extract and a dash of almond extract. And then of course, to make this look like funfetti, I'm also adding just a few star-shaped sprinkles, and I'm just going to fold them in. Now it looks like these are done. So yeah, I'd say these definitely look more like pancakes than they do waffles, but I think they're still going to be tasty. Now to go along with these, Faith also requested some maple syrup. For Faith's fruit, she asked for strawberries, so I just cut those into heart shapes. And for her veggie, I'm adding some carrot stuffed cucumbers. For a salty snack on the side, Faith asked for goldfish, and I decided to go with these giant ones. And then, for her sweet treat, she asked for strawberry mochi. Now, I couldn't find any plain strawberry mochi this week, but I did find the strawberry frozen yogurt-filled mochi. You guys, I just love how soft and squishy these are. They are so good, but honestly, with this meal, you'd probably have to start with your dessert first because these things do melt so quickly. And then the very last thing that Faith requested was some strawberry milk for her drink. As always, I hope you enjoyed these fun lunch ideas, and don't forget to vote down below on which one you think was the winner. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next week.